too cranky. I was gonna film this review right after I watched Supergirl on Tuesday, but I was just too bummed out, not because Supergirl was a bad movie, but because it was actually good, and yet it was still receiving a lot of hate and not doing really well, and that was bumming me out, really putting me in the dumps. So I took a couple of days and I'm doing better, I'm okay. Is Supergirl the worst movie ever? No. Was it as great as I wanted it to be? No. But was Supergirl the character phenomenal and amazing? Yeah, pretty much. The movie had some issues. There were a couple of things about it that I didn't really like, but it wasn't terrible. I've seen people online comparing it to The Flash and saying it's just as bad as that. Trust me, it's not. It actually is pretty good. And as I predicted, Supergirl had an amazing character arc, and she was a great character. I loved her. Pros of the movie: Supergirl and Ruthie. Both were amazing characters with their own great respective character arcs. Oh, spoilers? Did I say that already? Anyway, spoilers. I love the character arc that they had with Supergirl. I love that it was very different from what Superman did, but she was still a hero. That was one criticism that I saw from some random guy on the internet that was saying Supergirl was a terrible movie because they didn't give her enough superhero moments. Then, right at the beginning of the movie, she's immediately like, hey, don't steal Ruthie's sword, and she went and got the sword back from that guy. That was a hero moment, and there were tons of hero moments throughout the movie. I don't know what that guy was talking about. Anyway, her as a character, she was a good hero. She went through a great character arc. When the trailers were coming out and everybody was talking about the comic that it was based off of, I was under the impression that Supergirl would actually be helping Ruthie go get revenge. That's kind of what I was expecting, and that was fine. Revenge stories are cool, but I love what they did instead, where instead of Supergirl helping this little girl go get revenge on this bad guy, Supergirl knew that this bad guy needed to be taken down, but also knew that Ruthie was an innocent young child and needed to be protected from exacting that revenge. She knew that that would not be a good thing for her, that would really mess her up on the inside, and so she was there to exact the revenge and also protect Ruthie. That was a great arc for her and a great way to take this movie. And I love Ruthie's character, how she felt a bit more mature than Supergirl at this moment and was able to help Supergirl see that she wasn't really living her best life and she could have done better and be a better person. It was great to see these two bounce off of each other and see these two help each other to overcome their respective challenges. It was great. And I told you they were gonna give her a character arc. All you people, all you doubters, of course they were. When the movie was coming to a close, I was afraid that they were going to end it with her going up to finish celebrating her birthday and not addressing the whole she needs to go back to Earth, go back and find her home. But then they did. She did go back home and she found Superman and she was like, yeah, I need to stay home. I'm happy to be home. That was great. That was the best possible way they could end it, was starting off with her being a loner, kind of lost, adrift, and then ending it with her admitting to Superman that, yes, you're right. This is my home. I should stay home. And she did. I also love what this movie did with Superman. He was a pretty small part of it, but they did a lot of comparison of Supergirl and Superman. And part of me was a little bit afraid that they would do this whole Supergirl is so much cooler than Superman kind of thing. Only a little bit of me was afraid of that. But they didn't. They did this comparison where the cousins were very different, but they didn't try to cut down Superman in any way. So they treated Superman's character with a lot of respect, and I really appreciated that. And I love that these characters were very different, but it wasn't necessarily one was the good one and one was the bad one. They didn't treat Supergirl like she was bad and she needed to become like Superman. They treated them very differently and just showed the two different perspectives and backgrounds of these characters. And I thought it worked really well. Other pros of the movie, a lot of the shots looked really cool. A lot of the fight scenes were really cool. One person that I watched this with really loved that she used her laser eyes a whole bunch, and I agree. Superman only used that like once in his movie, and it's a cool superpower. So it was awesome to see that she was using that a lot. I think that her fight scenes were a little bit more fun and dynamic than Superman's. Best thing about this movie definitely was Supergirl. I loved her character. Millie Alcock did a great job, and I'm so excited to see more of her in this franchise. I honestly don't think that they could have done the casting better. She was really funny as well. I love that. There aren't many cons that I can think of for this movie. I think the main con is just there was too much of the James Gunn weirdness. I think we all know that James Gunn has a pretty distinctive style to his movies, and he likes to add in lots of like really kind of icky, gross creatures and stuff like that. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you know. They also added some things in like the Superman movie, like the Mr. Handsome guy, where I'm like, that didn't need to be there. James Gunn loves to do these things. It's his style. I don't really appreciate it. And he's got to stop. It doesn't need to be in every single movie. So I think that was kind of my biggest con. I feel like that's a huge reason why this isn't a 5 out of 5 movie for me. Even though Supergirl was great and I loved her character and I loved her character arc, there were just too many things in this movie that I found a bit uncomfortable to watch and to see, because James Gunn really likes adding these things and I don't get it. So anyway, just James Gunn, please stop. Please stop adding all these gross things into your movies. Thank you.
Stop it. Get some help.
Not the best movie I've ever seen, but really good. I'm bummed that it's not doing really well in the box office. I'm bummed that all these haters are like, oh, see, I told you Supergirl wasn't gonna do well. It's such a flop. It's just as bad as The Flash. It's not. Just because you guys decided you were gonna hate it before it was even released doesn't mean it's actually bad. You're all just a bunch of haters. I'm bummed. I'm back to being bummed. This is so lame. I really am not happy that it's not doing well and that all these people are gonna say, we don't want to see Supergirl. We knew Supergirl was never gonna work. Like, do you guys even want... They don't want female superheroes. I do. I want them. I really wanted this to be good. I'm bummed that it's not performing well and that people are going to be like, see, it was so stupid, dumb idea, don't do this ever again. Do it. Create more female superhero movies. Please make them good. As a girl who is a fan of superhero movies, I know that we don't get a lot of female superheroes. And I'm not saying like it bothers me too much. It's not that I hate all the movies that we get that focus on, you know, male superheroes. I like those movies. Those are great. I do, however, want more female superheroes and more good ones. And all the ones that we have received, a lot of female superheroes, they get critiqued and criticized a lot. And I feel like most of us generally have the same idea of what we want to see from these characters. And guess what? Supergirl met that criteria. And also, guess what? A lot of these people that profess to want good female superheroes and profess to know how to write a good female superhero or a female action star, they hated Supergirl. Supergirl had a lot of qualities that these people profess to want. She was vulnerable, she was flawed, she was scrappy, determined, she was tough but not completely overpowered. She had a moral mission, which was to protect Ruthie and to serve justice to the bad guys. And she didn't execute this mission very perfectly at first. She's a very flawed person. And it took her a while and a little bit of time spent with Ruthie to really overcome these flaws and to execute this moral mission as she should. She had a great character arc. Some of these people are just not going to be happy, and that's kind of just driving me insane. I realize that all these people that really hate this movie and that are happy it's not doing well in the box office are not serious people. All those jokesters that were already hating on this movie way before it even came out are clowns. Remember that. They were so unwilling to give it a shot just because they're just a bunch of clowny clown faces. I think others don't actually want or care to see good female superheroes. And I'm talking about people I've seen online and people I know in person. I knew people that were telling me how stupid this movie was before it even came out. These people confuse me. In conclusion, go see this movie. Go try it out. Don't listen to the haters. They're all just a bunch of clowns. This movie was good. Also, get excited for Spider-Man. That one's gonna be great.